Good day. Last time we have already mentioned that space modeling is subdivided into classes. So logically, the first class is class S1. S1 is a category of model of altitude flight. The goal of competition for flight altitude is to achieve the highest possible altitude established by observations and measurements. The athlete must be the model of the rocket, which, due to its aerodynamic and geometric characteristics, will reach the highest flight altitude. In the models of these classes, it is allowed to use any number of engines in any combination, but provided that their total power does not exceed the allowable power of the engines of models of this class. At competitions, the take-off model of the rocket should not disappear from the field of view of the observing judges. Therefore, modelers try to paint their model in bright colors. At competitions, athletes use models consisting of two stages. The first stage serves as the starting accelerator of the model, and the height of its takeoff is measured in the second stage. Points for the flight are awarded depending on the height to which the model climbed. Creation of the stages. The first stage of the model is usually made of fiberglass, impregnated with resin or paper. Recently, the coal wheel began to gain popularity. This is a non-woven fabric made from pieces of carbon fiber. Models made of it are easier and tougher. The second stage of the model can also be made of fiberglass, paper, or carbon fiber. But a particularly exotic option is to print the second stage casing on a third printer. This allows you to achieve exact compliance with the geometric characteristics of the model, calculated for minimum aerodynamic drag. Such models showed good results at the European Championships in 2019 in Romania, taking first and second place. When embarking on the manufacture of models of missiles of this category, one must strive to maximally ease their design and reduce aerodynamic drag. Finite element analysis, knowledge of aerodynamics and gas dynamics, topological optimization, and experience allow one to theoretically achieve the choice of the optimal rocket shape to achieve maximum results. Relief of missiles should be reasonable. We must not forget about the strength. The aerodynamic drag of the model depends on many factors: cross-section, quality of machining of the outer surface, alignment, and so forth. An important factor is the selection of engines, namely the observance of the required energy parameters throughout the flight path. So, for example, the engine of the first stage should be with the maximum specific impulse and the minimum operating time, while the second engine should provide the minimum resistance and maximum active flight time. Altitude measurements, triangulation, and height sensors. Triangulation, visual tracking. Judges observe visually using measuring devices, track the model at maximum height. A cloud of paint is thrown out of the rocket model and fix the angles relative to the horizontal and vertical axis, azimuth and elevation with an accuracy of 1.5 degrees. Angular indicators by the method of triangulation are translated into height data. In this case, the result is rounded to the nearest meter in a smaller direction. Official is considered the height obtained as the average value from the measurement of two devices. The winner is determined by the best result of 3 attempts. Recently, at official sports events, electronic height sensors have been used. They are easier to use and require additional calculations. They are issued to each participant at the beginning of the first round in exchange for a cash deposit, and are returned after each launch to read the results and zero. Since altimeters are used to measure peak altitude, models should use a long moderator to overcome the climax rather than trying to burst at the climax, as is required when using optical tracking. Good day. Today we are going to find out about S1 models. These are rocketry models for altitude flight. This class is very variable and extraordinary. The model can have one stage or two stages. In any case, the idea is to launch the model as high as possible, but it depends on the weather conditions. The weather is clear, the sun is shining, and we are sure that the model will be found, that we are able to find it. So in cloudy and nasty weather, it is preferable to choose one-stage model, because otherwise you will not able to find. And today I'm going to tell you about two stages models, which our models use at high-rank championships, World Cups for best result achievements. In 2019, in last season, in European Championship, two sportsmen from Russia, Dmitry Karotin, senior sportsman, and Varnavskoy Alexander, the junior sportsman, has got the first place in S1B and S1A also. Here is the model of S1B, and here is the model of S1A. Almost everything is the same except the hardness and weight of the models. The maximum weight of S1B can be 50 grams, and the weight of S1A can be up to 30 grams. And also the difference is in engines. Impulse is up to 1.5, and as for S1B is up to 5 Newton. And now as for technical requirements, the models are measured in the following way. We put the model with two stages in the following way and take the ruler. The length of the whole model should not be less than 500 millimeters. The length more than required is acceptable, but less is not. The length of the rocket is measured with a special ring, which is put on the model tube like this. And exactly in the middle of the model, the diameter should be not less than 40 millimeters. Now about the competition themselves, how they are organized. The sportsman is allowed in competition to register two models. Two models are considered to be two first stagers and two second stagers. Altogether, two models of S1. After the registration, the sportsman gets such a device which is called altimeter. They are produced right now in different countries. This one is from the USA, but this year in a European Championship in Romania were Poland altimeters used. American altimeters are heavier. As for Poland ones, they are lighter and modern. This device is placed into the second stage of the model. It is fixed. Then we put the engine into the model. Both stages are getting attached. And the sportsman goes to the special zone, start zone, where he is ready to launch the model. The command he launches the model. First of all, two stages all together, flies. Two stages attached to each other, fly up high. Then at a height of from 100 up to 100.5 meters, you will see the separation of two stages. The sportsman takes the altimeter out of the stage, so the judges also could see it. The judges, special judges, take the altimeter, put it into the device which is called a reader, and they measure the altitude of the second stage. They measure the flight altitude on the second stage. So both chargers and sportsmen can see the result. Each sportsman has 3 attempts of flights, so he can launch his model 3 times. But for the general result, only the best result is qualified. And the team also consists of 3 sportsmen. So if each sportsman has 3 flights, best result of each sportsman are summarized and we get the result of the whole team. But as for personal result, it is up to the sportsman to choose whether to launch the model for the second or third time, or if he is sure that his flight was maximum, can take the decision not to launch it for the second or third time.